Muito boa tarde a todos. First of all, thank you for coming. In this panel, we will talk about something we know that will be a reality, but we don't yet. What kind of reality? Talk about that during several years, like a philosopher's. Transparency, give information to the consumer, but never we put in our mind that we must go fast in order to have a solution to give not only for consumers, but as well for the stakeholders of the value chain. But, like always, someone said in Brussels, the product passport, not only for textiles, of course, but the textile part of this initiative is what we are concerned with. They said, yes, digital product passport will be a reality in a time frame of 2 or 3 years. And this situation changed completely the way we started to work in order to have a solution for that. Now we are not philosophers. Now we are technicians, we are businessmen, in order to find solutions for obtain a way to inform the consumer and the stakeholders, but respecting several things in the chain. For instance, your intellectual property rights. What is the frontier between transparency and to give the gold to the, how to say that in English, the stoller? That's it. So to discuss a little bit about this point, we have a panel and a moderator. We are 3. I am 2 offs. So this is an honor for me to present to you Katri Pylkkänen from the Textile and Fashion, Finnish Textile and Fashion Association, that have a long work, a research work about the principles, about the challenges we have to implement the so-called digital product passport. So for this reason, please, Katri, come to the stage and make your presentation, please.
Okay. So I'm going to come there. So, hi guys, my name is Katri Pylkkänen and I come from Finland, from the Textile and Fashion Association of Finland. I work there as an advisor of textiles and sustainability. And yes, we have done a project regarding digital product passports, and this is a project that we did. It was a joint project with another industry association, which was the technology industries in Finland. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the project results. The aim of this study was to define the digital product passport concept, and a concept that will serve different industries and different value chains. This concept was tested in relation to textile industries, but also batteries value chain. And these 2 industries worked kind of like 2 examples where we wanted to gather feedback and then develop the concept a little bit further during the process. As a result, we published a study which will define this generic concept. It will bring a vision of the very generic data architecture that we propose using, and then some technical approaches. And it also investigates a little bit about the content of what we could really have in the digital product passports in the future. I see my colors are fading from all of my slides, but you'll get what I'm saying anyway. Okay, so we had 5 research questions in our study. First, we wanted to gather information what current and upcoming regulation and also voluntary governance systems there is, for example, related to information management or circular economy or waste regulation that should affect DPP in the future. Then we wanted to benchmark already existing technical solutions which are related to product value transparency and also product trust. And also we wanted to see what kind of technical approaches there is already for the implementation of DPP. Then what was really important for us, we wanted to find out what really are the company needs and also companies' capabilities of really implementing DPP in the future. This would mean, for example, what information is really useful for companies, who should be responsible for maintaining the information, who has the right to read information, and how we can, for example, enrich and verify information. And then, of course, not only did we wanted to see what companies think about DPP, but we wanted to take into consideration like every stakeholder's expectations about the DPP. And then in the end, we tested the concept with these 2 industries, so textile industries and the management of battery minerals. So this concept that we have created, it focuses on actors, we like to say, and these actors all have a very important role in both giving and receiving product data. The actors are raw material providers, which you can see down here, and then material suppliers and producers. And of course, these actors have a very important role in producing or giving data about the production value chain. And then we have consumers, we have service providers, and we have recyclers, which can be also raw material providers, of course. But these are the actors who need data about the products for their own purposes. But also in the future, if we look into the future of a digital product passport, we can also see that in the future, these actors will also enhance the data with the product's life cycle information that they can give. During the process of the project and the study, we made some principles and design drivers, it says there, about the digital product passports that we think that are really important. So, but basically, the value versus effort for businesses, we think this is crucial for the implementation of digital product passports. So if we can make like real value for companies, we can really drive the digital transformation. And then we think that at least in the beginning, we should leverage already existing data when we think about what data there should be in the DPP. So we should use the data that we already have. And then also we should integrate digital product passports to already existing enterprise systems. And this we think also is very important. Reliable data, we think, can be created via standardized verifiable credentials. Okay, yes. And then the passport really should be about realized products. So it's not a concept of what products we are designing, but it's a passport of actual existing products or production batches, it could be also. The DPP that we create in the EU should be generic enough so that it can serve kind of like a variety of industries. So we cannot create a DPP for only textiles and clothing industry. It needs to be fair and it needs to be adaptable across all business sizes so that it's fair also for the SMEs. The DPP could be really like a foundation for an open ecosystem. This means that it's kind of like a platform for public and private actors to build their own digital applications on top of it. And also, in the first phase implementation of DPP, we have to create value at that first stage, but the DPP in general needs to be kind of like developed modularly, and it needs to scale when we present it to new industries, and then we have new use cases, and then we are able to gather more information, what is needed and how it can be done. So data will be provided to DPP via many different interfaces. A large amount of data is provided when actors integrate their own enterprise systems to the digital product passport. And this is done using integration between different systems that provide automatic data transfer. So this way the information is created using actors' own tools. For example, you could use ERPs or PIMs to this. But our study recognized a need for two different user interfaces, at least to make the first phase implementation of DPP. And these are data input interface, which you can see on the left side of the screen. And this is basically intended for raw material providers or manufacturers to place information about the production value chain. And then on the right-hand side, we see another interface, which is actually the interface to access the product data. So we want to read some information about the products, and we access through this interface. And of course, the main interest groups for this interface would be consumers or end users, of course, and service providers and recyclers. And also, like I said earlier, if we look into the future, this could also be an opportunity for these actors to place more information about the product's use phase. So it could be a data input interface as well in the future. But if we think about it from the consumer's point of view, the DPP user interface, for example, here on the right side, it could be very simple. It could be like a QR code that the consumer scans with their mobile phone, and then through that they are able to read certain data about the products and about the production, for example, the materials that have been used, or if there are any chemicals of concern in the products, or about the origin of the materials or the product itself, and for example, the carbon footprint of the products. And many other things which we don't know what will be added to the DPP content. But the DPP can be thought as a tree of information, we say. Don't be alarmed of this wonderful illustration on the right. It's so raw, I had to put it to the slides. Okay, so but basically what this picture wants to tell you is that parts of the products, we can think about it like parts of the products have their own, let's say, data sheets. It could be called something else in the future as well. And data is managed by the actor who is producing any particular information. And after that, data is linked together by using unique identification keys. So if we look at this picture, we are seeing like different data sheets of a shirt. So there might be one producer who is the producer of oil, and then another producer who is producing plastic, and then another producer who is producing the actual buttons for the shirts. And then we have the shirt maker, and then we have the cotton farmer, and then we have the material producer. And these are different actors in this chain, and they all produce different types of information, which is then linked together. So it will become kind of like a link tree of data sheets for the products. So we have different data entries from different sources, and these all together contain information of the products. After some data has been put to the system, it can also be modified. Like later on, if we put some information, we can modify it later. We can add information which will belong to the same DPP in the end. And we can also remove information if we see false information in the chain. We can also create new information. So for example, if we think about the carbon footprints of the whole shirt here, and we know the carbon footprints of different parts of the product, we can then count backwards and really count the carbon footprint of the whole shirt, and then add this information later on. Just a couple of words about the data infrastructure. This is a little bit of a tough topic. But we think that DPP could really benefit from using decentralized data storage. So in this study, we recommend using the World Wide Web Consortium's standard-based decentralized solution. And very, very shortly, this means that each actor who is involved in some production chain and every product has a unique decentralized identifier. And then when we want to make a when we want to produce some information, we want to make a claim. They are called verified credentials, and these are basically claims about the product. And there are many benefits of the Web3 standards-based solution. You can read about them from the study. But basically, one benefit is that it's very flexible. The system is based on trust chains, so it's not dependent on any single controlling entity or company, but can grow independently. We think that the DPP should be implemented in phases. And in the first phase, we should focus on collecting already existing data. And this data should be collected mainly from the sourcing and manufacturing part of the value chain. And the reason is that we really need to start increasing transparency of it. But to make a really big positive impact through the DPP, we think that the business value is the key to that. There were, as a result of the study, there were many opportunities for companies coming from the DPP. So on the left side, you can see kind of like the concrete benefits that every company probably will gain when using DPP, and there are some long-term benefits and some near-term benefits. But we gain more transparency, and we gain easier communication about product quality and sustainability, and through that we gain we gain benefits to our brand reputation, for example. And then in the long term, we can have a really critical evaluation of our own value chains as well. And then these kind of go hand in hand, but the left side and the right side have kind of like the same idea, but a different time frame, I would say. And the big impact could be, for example, more sustainable consumption when the customers or consumers know more about products' sustainability aspects, and they can make better choices. And then this is my last slide. We also found out that there are still quite many things that we don't know about the DPP, of course. It's a very complex issue, and we found out that there are quite many concerns that the companies are currently facing. So this is an screenshots of those different concerns, which are related to, for example, data openness and data reliability, and also about the resources that companies have. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, nice. Seems complex. Seems complex. But we must do it. That's the point. As we must do it, let's to be proactive. More or less what we done in Portugal till now. CITEVE, CENTI, and other institutions join, not to establish the standard, because we know that the standard will result of several interventions of other countries, other kind of institutions, the European Commission and so on. But it is not possible to discuss with them without some experience. For that reason, we decided to research and prototype. I mean, to create something that we can test, that we can, in contact with companies, test and verify what kind of improvements, what kind of difficulties, and the more difficult thing, I will give technical information to the final consumer. What kind of information? Tones equivalent of petrol. They don't understand that. Consumers need something easy to understand. As a traffic light, in order to quickly decide for a more responsible purchase. That's it. I will explain you what we done in Portugal about that. Yeah. You know, this sector is not simple. This sector has multiple situations and realities. We cannot compare a dyed house with the confection. Completely different. We have several parts of the chain, and we depend on parts of the chain that we don't control. For instance, agriculture or sheep production for wool, or even some chemicals and so on. So to implement these kind of tools, we must think about how to involve everyone. Where? In Portugal, in Europe? No, everywhere in the world. We must think about something that is easy to use in the several stages, starting in the beginning, data collection. If in your companies, you must have dozens and dozens of people collecting data and putting the data inside computers, it's crazy. This will not work. So we must understand that textile or textile confection fashion industry is very unique. We cannot compare with some other industries. So starting from the characteristics of our sector, I shown before. I don't know. Back, is it possible to go back? Sorry for that.
Don't touch it.
Yeah. The point is, how can we inform the consumers about the relevant informations that allow a responsible consumption? This is, I think, the first idea, the first aim of the passport. Where is the data to efficiently measure how sustainable and circular is the supply chain and make it transparent? How to architect and then feed and maintain a digital twin of a product? Are there IT solutions to support a DPP? Is blockchain really part of the answer? Some people believe that blockchain is the right technology. I must say that till this point, I didn't contact any technology more affordable for this than blockchain. Maybe blockchain will be the technology to support the passport. But we need a digital twin data model. This is not yet defined. We need a model of collection of data. How to do so? How to ensure that the information is reliable? A cloud-based platform to collect and maintain data across the supply chain with easy integration in common software like ERP or CAD softwares that we use in the industry. Key indexes as indicators of several components of sustainability. That's to stop. Tons of petrol for the consumer is nothing. We cannot send to the consumer 50 or 100 of indicators to be evaluated by them. So we must construct indicators based on the information, the available information, and then put all the people agree with that. Because different criteria to create just one figure can be interesting for ones and not interesting for others. So it is very important, a big discussion about the criteria to find some figures, few figures, to represent the level of sustainability of a product. As I said before, like traffic light. 3 possible points, or 5, but no more. Tech technologies to link the physical product with the digital twin. Again, a problem. We must be able to identify the product till the end of the life. The tag must be able to support temperature, pressure, water, ironing, and so on. What kind of technology? Electronic tags or printed tags? What is cheaper? What is more effective? What kind of changes we can do in our, or we must do in our processes in order to identify each one of the individuals? A group, 1 ton of yarn, or each one of the t-shirts. 1 point. 2 similar t-shirts from the same collection, 1 black, 1 white, must have different passports. So the implication in our ERPs is huge. We must multiply lots of times the number of identifications of our products. Standardized labels to be assessed by different actors in the supply chain and especially by final consumers. We must have technology to understand the label because, of course, we don't have any possibility to put all the information in a label, a traditional label. So we must, it's compulsory to have digital tools to assess the information. Okay, that's it, a t-shirt and the digital twin. To create this digital twin, we have lots of work to do. And in my mind, we can start in the last part of the chain, but it is time consuming to go to the first part of the chain because are not near close to us and the sectors are very different. So you know this relationship is another way to represent the interrelations between the system and the actors. So, but the content of the passport is just information about sustainability? Of course not. We need to put more information there. We need to avoid completely the traditional label. So, information about origins, again, the question created by or created in, made in, designed in, and so on. Composition, guarantees, use instructions, maintenance instructions, wash, dye, iron, and so on, repair instructions, certifications, and post-consumption destinies. So this information is very useful and is not the same for all kinds of products. So that's an opportunity to give information to the consumer as well to maintain and to give again to the system. But technical information, of course. And this is the part of the information I think we must aggregate in some indicators. You will have the presentation. So we found 4 kinds of indicators, but we aggregated to more 2. Why economical is in another color? Because some researchers and some politicians are saying that information about financial health of companies must be inside the passport. In our case, we tested with several companies and the result was not good. What? Solvability. Why? For the final consumer. But in any case, we can identify 2 types of views on the passport: the final consumer and the actors in the supply chain. Maybe some information must be useful inside the supply chain. Okay. Economic and social index, we define it yet. I'm not able to present you the criteria because it's under construction and is protected for the moment. But these are some of the informations we take in account to create the indicators. Environmental and circularity indicators. You know, everything is important. And let's see a small part of the source indicators to calculate a final indicator. I can assure you, this is a giant work. This is really difficult. And I think that in the future will be very different, Dirk, to put all the people agree with the criteria to join several data in some indicators. I count with you to help industry to resist to some philosophers. Okay, this is just an example, a small part of the indicators we identified. At the end of the day, we can in the several parts of the value chain, we can identify the level of non-sustainability introduced in the product. And then maybe we can have some results that are figures that characterize this product in this criteria. Okay, an example. The example I said before, white t-shirt and black t-shirt, they are really different. And the impact is different, as you know. Water, energy, chemicals, and so on. The same example for home textiles. So, at the end of the day, we realize that the textile product sustainability ratio or rating is something like the environmental and circular index plus the economical and social index, maybe. Okay, labels. Labels. We must have a label in each product, and the label must be active, printed or electronic, whatever, taking always in account that must resist to the process, even the process at home, washing, drying, and ironing. So the textile DPP containing useful infos about the use of the product, aggregated info indexes about holistic sustainability for clothing and home textiles items. And in our view, we must create these two views. One access to the final consumer, another access to the DPP for the actors in the supply chain. This is some examples of the applications we prototyped just for testing near consumers, near industry, to understand what is more useful, more easy to understand or more useful. Here you have two examples, but we developed other ways to present the results in terms of scoring, location, and so on, or this kind of representation with colors and numbers. Another way, very, very interesting in my view, is to allow consumer to privilege one or another of the criteria. For instance, I want to have less water consumption, or I want to have less energy consumption. So this approach can differentiate and characterize better where the product is more or less sustainable. Okay, that's it. Industry has lots of concerns, and as a technological center for textile and clothing industries, we have lots of concerns as well. The first one is how to treat data, how to concentrate data. And fortunately, Europe has a very strong group of technological centers, research institutes, publicity, aggregated in association with the name of Texternet. And we know that around these almost 30 technological centers, we have strong competencies to define how to treat this data to obtain real indicators for the DPP. In our activity, we collaborate a lot, and of course, it was not possible to reach the results we have now without a collaboration with other institutes. Yeah, more concerns from industry is what kind of information can be reached by my competitors? What kind of information can be used against me? And from the side of consumers, a big concern, who ensures me that the information put inside the system is true. How I can ensure, of course, when we talk about the last part of the chain, a confection for instance, it is possible to integrate in the information system some sensors, some devices to calculate and to give the information. But in the other parts of the chain, it is very difficult. Maybe using certification systems, but in any case, a certification system normally ensures that in total, the operation is good, but doesn't ensure that one product, one batch is exactly what the producer said. So finally, a last word, very important, easy to understand. If the European Commission defines something difficult to understand for industrialists, technicians, and for consumers, I don't believe we will have really a product passport in the future. So I conclude. I think that, yeah, industry can have lots of opportunities with that. Mainly the European industry, in particular, the Portuguese industry, has lots of opportunities on that. We can be pioneers. We have companies prepared to go fast in this way, like other countries in Europe. But we must work a lot. Imagine the European Commission defined it to the separation of textile waste, that we must implement this passport till 2025. Imagine the work we must do till this point. Believe me, this work is huge. This is an opportunity, but this is really huge. Sorry. We in contact with the Commission, Eurotex, of course, we will try to have balanced decisions. Yes, we will have a passport, but it is compulsory to negotiate with the European Commission a roadmap in order to be possible, stable, and of course, in the right sense, to have in the future a complete product passport for every textile product. Thank you very much. And now, I am the boss and the worker. So I give the word now to you. Any questions to the both presentations? Of course, Ricardo.
So Mike, thank you for the presentations. I have a simple question. So Braz, you presented what is happening in Portugal, maybe a framework, a tool that is already being developed under the project, CITEVE Go Digital. In Finland, maybe something is already also being developed inside of the country. So what is your opinion on how can we go further? Do we go country by country, or will be a single project combining everything? Otherwise, we'll have different layouts, different integration, different systems, different blah, 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 and we'll never come to some conclusion. Is anyone going further up front? We discussed this before. I think in Portugal, we are doing a good job there, but I don't know the rest of the world. Maybe they are further away than us.
Thank you.
Maybe I could answer that first from my side. I think what we can do at the moment is that listen to the Commission, because they have asked for industries to come up with different solutions. So this work that we have done is kind of like providing one solution, and you guys have been providing one solution or solutions to different problems. So we are providing some ideas how this could be done. And I think that the correct way to proceed is that we start with something. We start with the first phase implementation of DPP, and then when we have more information and we want to implement the DPP or the system to other industries, then we can have more information gathered and then like build kind of like short feedback loops to the system. Then we can make it better and better again if we want to, and when we want to implement it further. But we need to have kind of like a starting point, and it needs to be the simplest possible way to go forward. I think that's how we should start. But of course, the Commission is now asking industries, what do you think, what should be done, and what is the content that should be collected, and what are the products that need a DPP and so forth. So we need to like kind of like invest our time and resources for that work in order to get the best result possible.
Yeah, two questions. The first one, it's not possible to implement this just in one country. European DPP is European DPP. We must have just one structure to be fulfilled for everyone. Second question, as far as I know, all countries are trying to do something. The most part of the countries with this aim to provide the European Commission with information for a better solution, better decision. Some institutions in Europe, for instance, Ocotex, is trying to have a passport to Ocotex, and other certification systems are collaborating to have a tool with all certificates inside. So very useful. But at the same time, this is the passport, or one part of the passport. The Portuguese case is a little bit different because we decided to go to the end till the moment we have a solution that can work. But our expectations are not that this system will be adopted by all. The point is, we need to go to the end to have the industry reaction, to have the consumer's reaction, in order to have, how to say, a stronger voice to advise, or yes, to advise or to give information to the European Commission and other institutions like Euratex. Euratex is very important in this discussion in the future, of course, supported by the technical institutions around. Texonet and Euratex has a strong relationship. We have a common institution, the technological platform for the future of textile and clothing. So now it's time to in our mind, it's time to go to the end, to verify all the difficulties, and then to have better information to give to our partners, namely to Euratex, to defend near the European Commission the right scenario to implement the DPP in the future. You have one more. After
questions arise. Because you said, if I understood it correctly, you said that the best way is to go simple and make sense. And if I got it right, in Finland you will do your own DPP, while Braz was saying that it should be a combined one, meaning that this phase is to feed up input to someone that we don't know yet whom, that will create a DPP. So can you comment there?
Yeah, I didn't mean that we are building our own DPP in Finland. I meant that this is a solution of the general concept that we will provide for everybody to use. This is a study that we will give to the Commission or give to Euratex or whoever wants to read it and wants to think about the idea that we have and wants to use it. It's an idea of the kind of like the very high level data architecture, the general concept, and so forth. So it's a general idea. We are not building Finland DPP.
Yeah, so it's an impulse for a general DPP.
Yeah.
Okay. Any idea on the timing?
5 to 10 years.
5 to 10.
Just one compliment. Of course, every country will have their own way to go to the industry and to implement. This is one thing. To implement is one thing. But the structure of the DPP and the intermodal system, just one.
Yeah.
In my
It
mind.
needs to be decentralized.
In my mind. We never know. In Europe, we never
I think
know.
we have time for 1 minute question.
Okay, please.
Yeah, some questions are already answered, but you said that one of the platforms or architecture that you are thinking about is blockchain. But okay, you already said the timeline is 5 to 10 years, and this kind of timeline maybe is possible. But blockchain that we are thinking is the European blockchain that European create the nodes, or is something that's going to be independent? And how you going to work in terms of Ocotex and this kind of companies that living of this kind of certifications? What you are thinking is something that this kind of organizations got to make the validation of the information that you put in a chain, or how you think that gonna work this kind of business?
Yeah, well, in the Finnish study, we are proposing that the technology is similar to what is used in blockchain, but I'm not a technical data management expert, so maybe don't ask me so hard questions about it. But it's based on the idea that there are those actors who are involved in producing information are verified. So every single actor is verified using these decentralized identification keys, which are signed digitally. And when you make a claim, it's kind of like signed digitally, so it's verified at the same time when it's made. And you refer to certificates, so it's possible to add information about different certificates to the DPP, but it cannot be a system where every information needs to be verified via a company who is asking for money to verify something, so it cannot be built on that. So it needs to be kind of like a decentralized solution where actors are verified independently.
Only to ask if the hash have the right information of smart contract, have the right information to make the validation, you take money for that. It's energy, but the energy is money.
First question, what kind of blockchain? What is important at this moment is the concept. And the concept of blockchain, in principle, adapts completely to what we need now. And as far as I know, all the experiments going on in Europe, all of them use blockchain as the base technology to support digitally all the information. The second question is, of course, this system must be as simple as possible. If one certification body certificates one company, injects this information in the system, and of course, this information will be linked with the company, or the product, or the plant. It depends on the certification system. The idea is that what I mentioned about Ocotex and Blue Sign and others is exactly that. We don't need to have physical certificates and copies and certified copies. No, if you can see if some product or company is certified, you just go to the system and you have all the information.
Yeah, my question is more, is this kind of companies that going to make management of the digging, or if...
No, never. It's a stakeholder. Just a stakeholder, of course. And this is another point. Who makes the governance? But as you know, in principle, blockchain is well adapted to this kind of spread system. Yeah. But in any case, we have something to define about governance.
What it means is like it should be far more behind the declaration. I mean, brands are always saying, "Oh, my jeans are greenwashed." Okay, did you taste it? No.
Yes.
So I mean, it should be far more beyond the declaration form. It should be verified and practically proven facts should be listed there.
In my mind, all the information that is yet validated with certification systems must be used directly. Because the responsibility for the truth is the entity that injects this information in the system. This is how we can make the system modular. Each one has in responsibility in the system. That's the way it can be simple. Otherwise, companies have the work to introduce all the information of their production and the other productions and other stakeholders in the chain. Yes, I know. I must conclude before you give me this information. Please, a big applause to my colleague. Thank you very much.